Good morning. This is the forum, and we're here with our backup technician.
yeah. Yeah, the old guy. They brought me out of mothballs.
Frank, you're not old. You're one of those guys that doesn't age very quickly.
I'm blessed. I take after my mom's side of the family. You know, she always looked about 10 or 20 years younger than her physical, her actual age. Yeah.
On my mother's side, they died of heart disease and young cancer and everything. My father's side of the family, you could hit them with a rock.
Yeah.
And they would say, "What do you want?"
Well,
They're all into their 90s. Maybe I might make that.
my mom has been 39 for the last 30 years or so. So, yes.
Very good. Well, I have two very interesting guests with me this morning. The gentleman on my right is Eric Anderson.
Mr. Pat, good morning, brother.
And I'm not going to give you work things because you're going to explain these to me. And
Okay.
we have Mike Gempel.
Gimple?
Gempel.
Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm really happy to have you guys here because we have a whole host of things to talk about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And Eric, I know the most pressing thing right now are turkeys.
Turkeys. Yes, this is all about turkey. It's turkey time, Mr. Pat.
Why don't we start off with turkeys?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm excited to be here today, and I want to thank Pat for the opportunity. Thank you so much, brother. Today is all about turkeys. What do I mean by that? We have an initiative. The name of our organization is the HAT Foundation, the Haitian American Tree Trust Foundation, and our goal is to feed over 40,000 people. We're giving away 10,000 turkeys, 5,000 in Boynton Beach and 5,000 here in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Mike, we're actually maybe starting an initiative in Daytona as well.
We're working in Daytona with a couple of car dealerships to be able to give away somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 in Daytona as well. That'll all happen November 23rd.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in all of our locations.
It's something the foundation has done the past couple of years. Last year, we gave out 2,500, and a couple of months after the giveaway, I was sitting in front of a little studio similar to this, and I said, you know what? Next year, let's make our goal 10,000. And everybody looked at me like I was a nut.
You are? I'm sorry.
This year, the goal is 10,000.
Wow.
We will give away 10,000, and it's not just the turkeys. We give away bags, buckets, cases of fruits and vegetables. So when an individual does his pickup, heads home, he has basically everything he needs to feed a family of 4 to 5 people.
Now, what's the criteria for getting a turkey?
Getting in line.
Yeah,
Regardless.
any family in need.
Regardless. We advertise on radio. We advertise in the newspaper about a week prior to that we're trying to feed needy families. But anybody who shows up gets a turkey.
And the first thing we're going to do is design a nice flyer
Okay.
with this in mind to these professionals saying, we need your help, blah, 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 blah. And I'll blast it out several times.
I appreciate it.
Sounds
You've been
good.
supporting this effort. By the way, Pat has been supporting this effort, I think, from the first phone call I gave him. He said to me, we met in Panera, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and we talked for an hour, and it was like talking to myself.
Yeah.
Well, he loves to talk.
But we have the same.
You know what?
When you
'Cause
listen to him, it's me too.
you have a giving heart. And that's really what I believe that's true. You may not. I believe you have a giving heart.
Yeah, I do.
You know, and that's the beautiful thing about what we're doing. It's all about the community. It's a community outreach, and I don't want to miss that. So I'm not just looking to have people say, okay, yeah, I gave $20, I'm done. No, I want the community to get involved. We're working with different churches here in Port St. Lucie. I'm working with churches in Fort Pierce. We've reached out to the mayor of Port St. Lucie, the Stewart Police Department, the fire departments. Our goal is to have the entire community involved, not only in the distribution on November 23rd at 808 Southwest Glenview Court, right on Port St. Lucie Boulevard, but also one of our events I know we're going to get into at the Brenedy at Tradition. We're having a autumn carnival, and we have invited the world to be there because we want the whole community to come out.
And Eric has done things for my agency,
Yes,
the
I know.
Alzheimer's Parkinson's Association, at the Brenedy, at Allegro. And he's been doing support groups with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and doing religious groups as well.
I've been at an event before with him at Brenedy.
Yeah, we
You
did.
know,
We did
and,
something there. Yeah.
the whole thing. I get so excited about things like this because my whole goal, my whole life here, is community, and I want to take us back to the 1960s,
Okay.
where we were friendly with each other. We weren't afraid to talk. We weren't afraid to.
You didn't have to lock your door for
Thank
being
you.
in the house by yourself for 5 minutes and worry about
And
it.
your car. You didn't
Mhm.
like your car either. Now, we may not achieve that, but I want to achieve the fact. I hate cold calls. If I came to your office to talk to you, first thing you're going to do is look at your sleeve. Yeah, okay, look at your, yeah, I got time,
You've been to my office before.
I also do a lot of work with nonverbal communication. So when I see these things, I know what people are saying to me. But if we had been to a breakfast meeting and happened to sit at a table together or introduce each other, and I walk into your office, what's your reaction? Hey, there you
How
are.
you
Come
doing,
on
man?
in. See, we broken that cold
Correct.
call ice.
Yeah.
And the more, and I'm so proud of that group because again, we've had a couple people get jobs.
Oh, I've had an
coming to a
opportunity
breakfast.
to be at those breakfasts, and you brought up the Parkinson's and Alzheimer's Association of the Treasure Coast, and yes, at the Brennedy, we had a group there for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, a support group, and in that support group, we had the people that live at the Brennedy come on out, but we also opened it up to the public,
Right.
And yes, we were at the Allegro as well in Stewart. That's one of the organizations that was part of it, and you're right. I did a Bible study over there,
Right.
and we had 12 or 14 amazing ladies come out every Wednesday, and we'd sit down and talk about the Lord, which is at you know what? He's number one. He is at the prime, the focus, and at the core of everything we do.
Well, years ago, I met a young gentleman. He's maybe middle aged, not quite. Had Parkinson's disease,
Okay.
and he is a Tai Chi, a Tai Chi master.
Okay.
When I met him, he was out in the parking lot here, and his hands are. He said, "Wait a minute, I'll be right back." And he went out around the corner, came back in. His hands were like this now. I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I use my Tai Chi to control my Parkinson's symptoms."
Wow.
He does a half-hour exercise when he gets out of bed, so he doesn't have shuffle gait during the daytime.
Okay.
All these things. And I said, "What about support groups?" He said, "I don't go to them anymore." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because they kept telling me what I couldn't do."
That's not what we do at ours.
No, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
I had
As
an
a
uncle-
handicapped victim, no, we don't talk about that.
My uncle passed away at 38 years old from Parkinson's.
Mhm. Yeah, it affects so many people.
Well, I picked the neurological, basically, disease, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's Association, which I cloned after the association in Vero Beach because they broke away from their Alzheimer's Orlando district
Okay.
because they weren't getting enough local help.
Okay.
Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, Huntington's chorea, myasthenia gravis, and multiple sclerosis. These are all the neurodegenerative diseases. Now, Huntington's chorea, you find them rampant in Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's a Scandinavian familial
Okay.
disease. And people say, well, MS. Yeah, maybe it's the electricity in the air and stuff like that. I ran into a family that 7 members of that family had MS.
Oh, that's definitely familiar.
So,
Oh, yeah.
definitely familiar. Well, when you read the literature, they don't point it to be familiar,
Okay.
And then what was this about Hawking? Stephen Hawking. He contracted ALS
Amazing man.
when he was doing his second doctorate at age 23. Now, normally, Lou Gehrig didn't live 2 years
Right.
after that speech. And most people with ALS don't live very long. For whatever reason, Hawking did. And there's a new guy who has the disease, and he's using his eyes to write a book also.
Wow.
They have that machine, and he looks at a letter, and it goes into a system, and he types books like that. And then there's a speaker system.
So let's not talk about what you can't do. Let's talk
My
about what
God,
you can do.
Yeah.
You
Talk
know?
about the will to live.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And that's what we did at the groups. We there were times where people would come in and there would be tears. I mean, and you let the group run itself. And what you basically instructed me as a facilitator is my job is not there to lecture or teach. My job is there to just help and listen and steer the group. And we had a lot of days of just positive. What are we doing? I'm walking around the community and I'm exercising. I'm doing physical therapy right now. And you walked out with, and the crazy thing about it was I was supposed to be there to help them. I think I got more out of it than they did. I would walk out of there walking on clouds. And that's what we're doing with this turkey drive. It's like I'm able to help. Not me. It's not me. It's all God. but I'm able to help and be a tool to help raise this money for this organization.
And when you look around, you find amazing things. Now that my website is chock full of national links. There's 100 of them.
What is your website?
Treasure Coast, TC Remembers with an S. TC Remembers, Alzheimer's, so it remembers. TCRemembers.com.
TC Remembers.
Now there's a link that says national links. I was giving a talk south of here, and the wife who was running the place had her husband there, and she came up to me and said, "Would you talk to my husband?" I said, she says, he has Parkinson's and he won't admit it. He won't do anything. So I went up to him and said, "What about support?" I said, "Okay, I got the great thing." Because online I found a Parkinson chat room.
Okay.
I said, "Now can you go on the computer?" "Oh, sure." I said, "Do you have any symptoms?" "Yeah, well, sometimes my hand is weak." I said, "They will suggest adaptive equipment for you and they'll tell you where to get it. And if you don't get back to them for a while, they start emailing you and say, 'Hey, what's going on here?
Mhm.
We haven't heard from you.'"
It's something you can do from the privacy of your own
And he
home.
said, "I can do that." Okay. Because his pride didn't allow him to go and beg at a meeting kind of thing. So, that's a wonderful link to him. And I think as he begins to talk to people online about things, he's going to be a little more open to
Yeah.
talking to people. In
Absolutely.
And that's the future now. is
Whatever it
online.
takes, whatever it takes.
Yeah. I mean, the future now is online.
Yeah.
And you could take courses online, get your college degree online. And one of our sponsors that's helping get this whole thing kicked off the ground, I have to give them a plug because they're amazing. Q Global, and they're at qglobal.biz. They offer classes on how to learn how to trade and change your life. They make a promise, and it's a great promise. You could learn how to make $300 or $500 a day. And they're offering courses online. They have training centers in Boynton Beach, and they have more opening up all the time. We have a goal, I think, at some point to have one here in Port St. Lucie, don't we?
Port St. Lucie very soon. Miami, waiting to sign the contract on. Orlando,
Beautiful,
Naples,
Beautiful.
and currently working on one in Daytona.
Yeah, and that's just one of the companies that's helping us get off the ground. And Pat, I want to give some plugs if I can,
No,
because
please do.
the community has been great. So I have a little list in front of me, and I want to call out and shout out 3 natives. They have 2 locations, one on St. Lucie West and one in Tradition. And they have great shakes and they have some good food. But more or less, I spoke to the gentleman there. His name is Nick. And I told him, I said, "We're trying to raise turkeys. We're trying to get some money for this." And he looked at me, he says, "I'm very busy, but I'm very interested." Before too long, they said yes. Yesterday, we put our posters there. The flyers are there. And if you want to help you want to get behind this movement, go visit 3 natives. And Vitas Hospice, they've been on your program. And Peggy and Susan Acasella, they're on board
And they're
100%.
moving to one of my sponsorships too. right?
Awesome. Well, you know what, they should. And why wouldn't you? It's a no-brainer to work with you because of how amazing what you do is,
I'm lucky to have been old enough to do a lot of these things without the encumbrance of a job. Okay. I don't earn any money, but
I also want to call out, we have a few other ones that I have to mention. FMO, Florida Medicare Options. They reached out to, they said, "We want a vendor booth at this event you have at the Brennedy at Tradition." Again, that one is October 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We've been talking about the Brennedy, and Carrie, their activities coordinator, is amazing. They have a new executive director over there. I met her, and they're all about their residents. It's amazing to see. And this is going to be amazing. Wait, here we go. Families, come on out. We're going to have pony rides, bounce houses, hot dogs, ice cream, shaved ice. And not only that, face painting. We have a lot of things for the family. And we have these sponsors that are coming out, and they have tables there, and they're going to offer you ways that you could take advantage of their services as well. Panierella's Italian restaurant. I don't know if you've eaten there. Not bad at all. Panierella's, it's in the Coco Vista Shopping Plaza, and the owner there, he's going to take one of our flyers and put it on every pizza box to get the word out.
Excellent.
Nutrition Smart, the manager there, Phyllis, is in talks now with corporate to even have it so that you can make the donation directly to them. They'll take the money, put it in their register, and send the money to us.
Oh, wow.
Starbucks. I can't say enough about Starbucks. So Starbucks has allowed us to set up tables in Vero, Boynton, Stewart, Port St. Lucie. The regional director, one of them I know is Heather. The managers over there, Jackie and Izzy and a bunch of people. We've set up our tables, and I'm using my 8-year-old daughter, Pat. Chanel. I got her out there and she did good. She goes out. We're trying to tell her, don't be so aggressive, but she runs up to the people. Will you give some money? And so she's doing it. And she comes home with a smile of gratitude. And that's what it's all about. Gratitude, thankful to God, whether it's $1 and a $20 donation feeds a family of 4, which is amazing. I got it. So Starbucks, thank you. All right. So listen to this. Ruby Tuesdays. We're there for dinner. We go after church for fellowship. The general manager's name is George. I bring him over to the table and he has that look. He's like, all right, what's going to happen? He's going to complain about the soup. And I'm like, I said, George, this is what we're doing. This guy was so on board with it. He said, I want you to come in to my restaurant. I want you to help bust the tables to get to know the people. And I want you to get involved here. So he gave me a list yesterday of dates. So this is Ruby Tuesdays, St. Lucie West. Yes, George, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Paradise Housekeeping. So we met Paradise Housekeeping, LA Fitness on US 1. They just did a remodeling. Place looks beautiful. The manager there, his name is Sean. He said, I want you to come in. I want you to promote this thing. I'm all on board with this. While we're there, this gentleman, Mike, and my friend Roger went up to them and said, hey, you want to get involved and help us with this turkey thing at the Brenedy at Tradition? And she said, her name is Shannon. She's like, I am on board. What's the most expensive one you have? What could I do? And then we have the tent outside. The tent is a $600 sponsorship, but you have the tent all to yourself. We also have the ability to promote you on our social media, this radio station, as we're doing now, and other radio stations. But this is my favorite one, Pat.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Shannon, and the name of her company is Paradise Housekeeping. She's going to be at the Brenedy, and hopefully they could reach out to the residents there. Today, that's the organization that this is all about that I mentioned in the beginning. There's another organization that's sponsoring this, and that's called Pharmex Universal. They're at pharmex.today, PHARMX.today. Pharmex Universal is opening their doors. We're going to have our grand opening a week before Thanksgiving. This is about diabetic teaching. Okay, for those, and this is, how important this is, Pat.
Right.
And a lot of people have diabetes, and doctor says, you have diabetes, have a good day. What do I do next? I got diabetes. It's terrifying. Where do I give the injection? How do I do
test
this?
What about that patch thing that sticks
I
on your
think
arm?
it looks amazing, but the one thing that scares me is if you look at the television commercial, there's about 8 or 9 paragraphs in very small print that I can't read yet. So again, I think anything that makes life easier for a diabetic is great. I need to see more about it. I have to do more research on that. But in the meantime, good old reliable finger sticks. We know they hurt, but we can teach people how to do that, how to rotate it. They're not that bad, but if you don't know how to do it, what fingers, the rotation of the fingers, this is important.
Yeah.
The injections. They say inject it in your belly. You need to know there's a rotation site in the belly and how to change it. But what about this? What if I told you that you can have an education where you may help eliminate diabetes? Yes, I had diabetes. I was told if I lost weight and I did this, did that, thank God I had the right doctor in New York. I lost my weight. I lost diabetes. So, we teach people how to eat right and everything else. So that's Pharmex. They're opening up, again, 808, same place where the turkey distribution is going to be, 808 Southwest Glenview Court. So I had to give shout outs, and one more, Walmart. Would you ever think that Walmart, big
Walmart
company
gives money away.
Oh, my
Walmart
goodness.
sponsors things. They have a huge meeting in the back with their employees,
Okay.
and then they'll pick a charity, and they'll give $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to apply. They have been terrific.
Amen. I want to give a shout out to Heather on St. Lucie West. She's the manager over there. We walked in there. She's like, I love the idea. Not only that, I want to be a part of your event at the Brenedy on October 26th. And I says, wow. And she picked up the phone and called the other Walmarts and said, you need to get on board with this.
November 26th.
No, October 26th is at the Brenedy. That
one.
one's from 11 to 2. That's where the family comes out for fun. And then November 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And let me be very honest, from 9 a.m. until all the turkeys are gone. So we're expecting super amounts of people, and we'll be grateful for that. Again, we've invited the mayor of Port St. Lucie. We've invited the mayor of Fort Pierce, the mayor of Stewart. We believe that it's not that far. I'm here in Stewart. It took me 20 minutes to get here from Port St. Lucie. Fort Pierce, there's a great need. There's a lot of hungry people in Fort Pierce. We want you to come. So it's about getting the word out and getting people excited and interested. And Pat, I got to go back to you on this one, talking about health. PharmX, and we were talking about this before the program started. Pat, you have a group of community leaders in the healthcare industry, and
Right.
they're actually doing an event that I just told you I'm going to be on board with at the Polish American Club. And that date, if I'm not mistaken, is November 24th.
Right. And on the 23rd, there is a health fair up at the King Center.
Okay. Okay. And you guys are part of that as well.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we're in fact, our health, excuse me,
No worries.
we're not calling it a health fair. We're calling it a fall into health.
Fall into health. I like
Yes.
that.
We're going to have the standard booths of tables and everything. In the middle, there will be chairs. We're going to be doing Zumba. We may be doing Tai Chi. We're going to have a food tent or food cart wagon outside, bloodmobile. We're trying to do a health thing,
Okay.
and we're going to specialize with blood draws and all the things that we can do
I don't know
medically.
if Eric can commit to that one or not, Pat, because on the 23rd, he's going to be tossing a lot of turkeys around.
But I could be there on the 24th. I don't care how tired I am. I'm grateful for that opportunity, and I want to go there. And if that's okay with you, I'd like to represent PharmX there.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, if we can get the word out about this diabetic
Call
teaching in the
Christine.
community, I
We can
will.
get a
Christine
thing,
Riggs,
yeah,
another amazing lady.
Oh man, I'm telling you, this thing that's called the Treasure Coast Health Coalition, and we have 9 or 10 different people. Like, who's the best elder law attorney you could get to be on a panel? We have him. Who's the best person to know about home health companion services? Christine.
Yes.
Who's the best person to know about nursing homes? Terry Clark has been like 17 years as admissions and marketing person for 2 nursing homes. I don't want to let's get Joe Schmidt. He knows about. No, I want the best. We want to talk about Medicare. We have the gal who works for the Shine program,
Wow.
which she's an expert in Medicare and government benefits and stuff.
It's about getting the information to
We
the
want the
community.
best thing. James
is
Butler,
he-
who works
James
for Total
Butler,
Home Health.
He's almost as sharply dressed as me. He
I
tries.
know
James, I hope you're
He's
listening.
got about 27.
James, are you looking? Wait, hold on. James, are you looking? So I had to do that, Pat. I'm sorry. But he does. He looks fantastic.
And
But he's got
he's
a
an
big
expert
heart.
on Medicare home health rehab. Okay. We want to get those big guns from the community.
Mhm.
And
Which PharmX will get involved in home health care as soon as we open our
Yeah.
doors up
and
here.
Vitas has just joined us.
Yes,
on the
Vitas.
committee.
That's a great group. Do you know they just sent me a link? They want me to get all the pastors involved, and they're going to have a luncheon, and they're going to talk about the spiritual needs of the hospice patients.
Beautiful.
And I am honored to do that. They sent me the email, but I couldn't open the JPEG, so I don't know where it is, and I can't promote it just yet. But the second I get that information, I'm going to get the word out because that's amazing.
Well, Vitas is a for-profit corporation, and normally you get the nonprofits in there, and they've been around long enough to know how to do it right.
And they're a huge organization.
Yes, they are, and a very successful one.
They've also committed to be a sponsor for the Hat Foundation. They've
Excellent.
given a nice contribution. Again, we're happy with $1. We're even happier with a lot more.
We're on a crusade now, raising money.
Okay,
They're twin boys.
talk to me.
They're right this year. They're sophomores at Lakewood Park School. They're both accomplished musicians. They're both straight A students. They're a product of a single mother on welfare. The grandfather lives with them, and he's handicapped. I had the boys on the air. I'm sorry. Lakewood Park Choir has been invited to go to London right after the Christmas and do a concert.
Okay,
And very few choirs have been invited. So
Okay.
that's a super one. Well, both boys wanted to go, so we started a GoFundMe page for $10,000. Well, we had to give money the first week of September, and we only had like $2,500.
okay.
So the boys went into a room and decided who was going to go.
Oh, that's a tough decision.
They didn't even have a suitcase. I had a beautiful big suitcase. I took it into Rose yesterday.
Nice.
Give it to Peyton. And so we've been eking money, and we had enough to pay that down payment. I think we now just may have enough to pay the second half,
Okay.
which is due sometime this month. And then we got to give them a couple $100 for spending.
All right.
So
So
we've been working to get that. And every senior networking, we do a 50-50 drawing. Okay. And the host has been donating their money to the project. The winners have been donating.
that's beautiful.
So we get like $200, $300. Several of us have put in a little bit more. Um, because these kids, given their poor start in life, are going to be super successful.
You have to give me the information because I'd like to pledge here on the radio. So accountability, $100 from my own pocket for
You
this.
got it. Perfect.
I want that
You can go on
information.
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, and it's you can write this down. It's GoFundMe.
Everybody else listen to this.
All right, GoFundMe.
Okay.
All one word. .com
Okay.
/brothers, the number 2,
Mm-hmm.
London.
All right, I'm on board. Hey, listen, I'm calling you all out, not just for turkeys, but whenever you hear an opportunity to give, you got to give.
Wait a minute, Eric. I'll match your 100.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we're gonna have a little debate here.
I'm not
I got
going-
100. I got 100. Do I hear 150? I got 100.
Slow down,
we did that
Pat.
last Friday, Pat.
Oh yeah, can I tell you that story? So you're talking about motivation. So I said $100 real fast, and he said $100. It's contagious. Giving is contagious. So we gave all of us. I gave $300 to the Hat Foundation, my last paycheck. Every one of our employees gave $300.
Oh my God.
And some of our volunteers gave $300. Make a long story short, we had a day of $5,000
Oh my.
that day. Not just because of the employees, but giving is contagious.
This is part of the 60s, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it's all about.
I happen to be an Episcopalian, and our district runs from Jensen Beach to the Keys. Okay, that's our diocese. And the bishop from our diocese contacted all the priests in the 80-some churches saying, my good friend is the bishop of the Bahamas.
Okay.
We need some money. Can you give $5,000? So all these people were giving $5,000. I won't mention the church, but it's very local. They got together and wrote a check, and the priest and the guy drove to Miami to give this envelope to the bishop directly.
Beautiful.
And the guy had a video camera, and they handed the envelope to the bishop, and he opened it up, and there was $61,000 in there.
Nice.
And they said, well, another 10 is coming. I just found out that right yesterday, they're over $400,000 they've gotten from this diocese to go to the
It's
Bahamas.
amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
We may be, yeah, I know, I forgot. We may be not friendly in this country, but when there's a crisis, we all forget
Amen.
our differences and we all pull together. You know, I wish we could do that every day, but at least it's a start.
Eric's mentioned the Hat Foundation several times. I just want to give a little bit longer of a description of what the Hat Foundation has been up to. We just surpassed planting our 1 millionth fruit tree in Haiti.
Oh my God.
We have 3 water purification systems that the Hat Foundation created in Haiti, so over 6 million Haitians a day can drink clean water. When the hurricane hit in Louisiana about 6 years ago, the Hat Foundation took 3 busloads of carpenters and went up and rebuilt and re-roofed homes. When we had the hurricane here, we went out and did the same thing. We give away over 100,000 5-gallon buckets of food every year in the state of Florida, as well as in Haiti. It's just an amazing opportunity for people who really want to give, to get out there and give. And we get a lot of volunteers on Turkey Day. We'll have 50, 60 people sign up just to come and help us out.
See, that's what local support is all about.
Amen.
Reaching out. I've been successful. I'd like to share a little bit of that, helping somebody in need, you know. And there was a guy and they wrote a book about him, but isn't the whole book about that? Your neighbor
Mhm.
and love your neighbor?
Yeah, and the best book in the world to read is the Bible.
That's
And that's the book you're talking
that's the
about,
book
my
I'm
brother.
talking about, yeah.
And you got to give. And you got to give gratefully. And the Bible will say, knock and I will open the door. Ask and you will receive.
Mhm.
But you have to be able to give that to your neighbor. So the 10 commandments real fast. The first 4, all about God. Love him. The next 6, love your neighbor.
Right.
That's so you got 2 commandments really. Love God, love your neighbor.
I have to, I'm going to, it's not a commercial. It's not a political thing at all. Ellen was at a football game, the Dallas
Yeah, Cowboys.
Cowboys
Mhm.
game, and she was sitting in a box, and George Bush was there,
Yeah, next door.
and she got criticized that you were, you know, your opinions are totally divergent. She said, "Look, She said, I want to be friends with everyone. We may have differences, but there's no reason why we can't be friends.
Amen.
And,
And of course, a lot of people started bombarding her for that.
it was all over the paper again this morning how everybody's after Ellen.
But
Everybody's
you know,
after
isn't
Ellen.
it sad that we have to say things like that?
Mhm.
Isn't it sad? I mean, I love people. I love people. And, you know, we have differences. If I'm talking to someone who will not listen to me, that's one thing. But if we can discuss things and discuss our differences and, you know, kind of like, okay, I'll bet you that so-and-so is going to get elected or no, so and make a little game of it. That still treats the decency. And I know I'm going to sound like an old curmudgeon, but the whole thing starts at the home with young children.
Amen.
Absolutely.
We have to teach them respect.
Mhm.
We have to teach
The
them some
problem
order.
today is one, either they don't have two parents or the parents cannot spend enough time with the children to bring them up the way
Right.
they should be
Exactly.
brought up
Exactly.
Because they're working too darn hard.
because they're working too darn
Children
hard
are
too
empty
many hours.
vessels.
Mhm.
Either the family's going to fill them or the street's going to fill them.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, we
100%.
really have to make them, you know, here he's signaling me at 20 after we're supposed to do a commercial.
Oh, that means we're having a good time.
Go ahead.
way.
A helicopter.
It's flying something behind it. I can't quite make it out. It's a large banner, and it says, Happy Thanksgiving. From W. K. R. P. What a sight, ladies and gentlemen. What a place to land. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object.
This is the turkey drop from WKRP. So I thought a little, little turkey-related humor there.
too.
Alrighty.
Very
I
good.
remember that show too. WKRP in
Cincinnati, right?
Oh yeah.
I remember that show too. I was only like 3 years older.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? You keep talking about bring it back to the 1960s, and I think all of the people in this room were around in the 1960s except for me.
Except for you.
I was a 70s baby, so
you were the youngin'.
I'm a young one. I don't feel young. I gotta be honest.
That's okay. You don't look young.
Thank you. Well, I usually put a little bit of that just for men in the beard. But somebody the other day says that salt and pepper looks good on you. So
Sure it does.
I'm gonna let it go.
Plus, I like the look. The other one was
the full
bushy.
beard,
the
yeah.
full beard, bushy
Yeah.
thing.
The
Like I
dorm-
wanted to give you $1.
Thanks, but I appreciate. I should put the beard back and get some money for the turkeys.
It'll
Hat dot today. www. Hat dot today. I'll grow the beard back if we can get. How much should we get? And I'll grow the beard back.
How much are you going to
Yeah.
get if you grow the beard back?
Yeah, I'll grow the beard back if we can make $500 in donations today.
All right, now you're down to $4.99 because I just pledged $1.
Okay, but you didn't like the beard. I thought we were going to go against it. Whatever it takes to get the
I'll give
turkey.
you $1 not to grow.
Oh yeah, all right. So,
All right, now we're up to 2 because I'm with you.
Pat, when I was giving the shout outs, I forgot 2 really great companies I don't want to forget. The one is Noro Strive Hydration and Med Spa. They are on US 1 in Stewart, right next to the LA Fitness that I mentioned. I actually went in there to talk to Eddie and Chanel, and we were talking about the sponsorship, and they said, oh yeah, we want to do a $100 table. And we kept chatting, and I says, listen, do you know what this cause is all about? And I kind of upsold him. And Eddie looked at me and says, all right, I'm doing the 300 because I want to support this. And while I was there, like, I want to support your business, so I'm going to do an IV. Let me tell you something. I did the energy IV in there. I came out of that place. My wife says, what did you drink? Did you have 7 cups of coffee? What did you do? I felt fantastic. So I just want to say thank you to all the people so far that have jumped on board. But I'm going to put a challenge out here today. I'm going to call out to our local businesses, and especially those in tradition. And I'm going to say to you, first of all, this is a great cause. I'm going to get back to you with some statistics about the people that are hungry. I think that's important to talk about. But you live in Port St. Lucie and you may not see it as much, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people that are hungry. Here in Port St. Lucie, they're having a hard time. There are people in Fort Pierce and Stewart, and we're also in Boynton Beach. And I was out yesterday doing some marketing in Boynton, and there are some areas that you can see they need some help, Mike. They need some help. So we have this turkey drive going on at the Brennan Tradition, and we have some more vendor booths. They're going quickly. I'm very happy to say they're going very quickly, but I want to give everybody out there, all the companies that are out there, an opportunity to jump on board and get in here. So if you would like, you could get on hat.today, or you could reach out to our number at, you know what? I'm going to give my number if that's okay. If you're interested, I'm going to give out my personal cell number, and it's 718-877-5793. Kept the New York number, Pat. I'm not getting rid of it. You can take the boy out of New York. You can't take the New York out of the boy.
My wife won't answer your phone then.
Oh, boy.
Because
Yes.
if she doesn't recognize the number and it's not a 772,
Well, I'll call you
I thought
first.
you
Call me
said you
first.
didn't talk to New Yorkers.
So, yeah, that's a
we were-
challenge.
we're from the other New York, Western.
Oh, the good side.
Yeah. The lake effect
You're going to
side.
get yourself in trouble, not with me. I'm sure we have some New Yorkers listening. That is not me speaking. That is Pat and Mike. That is not me speaking.
But notice I didn't say anything about New Jersey.
That a boy. No, don't talk about New Jersey. No. And you know what's crazy? In New Jersey, we have our New York teams playing. We got the Giants and the Jets in New Jersey, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Where do they play? New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, so we can't talk
Yeah.
bad about New Jersey. We can't.
Well, I spent months in New Jersey.
On purpose?
Yeah. Well, I no, the government sent me there. Fort Dix, Fort Monmouth.
Oh, so that's not on purpose. That's not on purpose. You were forced there. No, I'm just kidding. I love my New Jerseyans.
I did too. I did too. That was the time back then too. You'd walk into a bar with a uniform, you couldn't buy a drink.
Yeah.
Everybody would just buy drinks. The soldiers coming in. You know,
Now look what happens with our people when they return home.
Yeah.
Sickening.
You know,
and we have such a professional army. We have these top-notch
Mhm.
volunteers. They're putting their lives on the line. I interviewed Brian Mast when he was in his office in Washington. I had to go through all kinds of hoops to get him on the air. Okay. And someone said, well, it was during the election time. Well, you can't do. I said, I'm not going to ask Brian a political question at all. I'm going to ask him questions nobody's ever asked him before. So he gets on the line. And I said, Brian, I don't understand you. And he said, well, I said, you had your legs blown off in war. Most guys had been an alcoholic or drug addict. You went to Harvard. Why? He said, I want to serve my country. I said, okay, tell me what happened when you got off the plane the first time you went to Washington as an elected official. Was somebody there waiting for you? Did you have to get a cab? What kind of orientation did they do? Did they give you an office like a little phone booth? Were you scared? I don't think any politician would admit it. And I think every politician is scared when they go into that situation for the first time.
Absolutely.
So if you get them to relax as people, you get all kinds of information. We had a delightful conversation.
Well, we forget our politicians are human beings.
Yeah,
We get angry. We want things. And the one thing I'll say, and you talked about before politics, and yeah, it's a very guarded situation. You talk politics. And for me, it's a very simple thing. Politics. Who is in charge? Who is leading us? And this is what I always say. God. He's leading us. So I don't care if you like Donald Trump or Brian Mast or the mayor of Port St. Lucie. What you need to do is pray for them. Because the ultimate truth is that God is in control. He is our leader. And pray for those politicians because they are men.
and we don't have to elect God every 4 years.
100%. He's always there.
He's always there.
100%.
He's on the ballot.
Exactly.
all the time.
We shouldn't be afraid to talk politics and the anger and the violence and everything that goes about. It's a shame because I think we forget that key point that
Well,
they're human beings.
Like Ellen said, there's no reason not to be friends with people who disagree with you.
Everybody.
You know,
Everybody. I mean, and again, what did we say before? The two commandments are love God and love your neighbor. And I hate to tell you this, people, it's true. Even the politicians you can't stand, they are your neighbor. And God doesn't want hatred. It's that simple. It's all about giving. And the one thing, Pat, I want to tell you about this. So I was doing something before this, and you know what I was doing, and I was unfulfilled. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I was
I
stressed.
knew that.
You did.
I knew
And
that.
because I've confided in
Yeah.
you in that. I was blessed to reach out to the community. I met some amazing people, Christine Riggs, Veronica Colbab, basically everyone on that council that you mentioned, and they're amazing people. But I was feeling unfulfilled. And I had this opportunity, and the founder of the Hat Foundation had come to me and says, I want you to come work for us. And I said, I can't. I got too much going on. Right? The walls went up. Mike spoke to me as well. And the thing that struck me, when he speaks, he gives glory to God in everything he does. So he said, it's God that did this. And then the first time I met with them, we sat down and we opened up in prayer. You don't see that in business. You don't see that in corporations. Prayer is an afterthought, if that. So when I came in and I did my interviews and I spoke to the people, it was prayer before every meeting. Then we talked about, Mike, you mentioned something about how Pat, you said the families out there, it starts at home. It starts with the children. And then we said a lot of times you have a single parent. And then the biggest problem is what? The single parent has to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, sometimes to support the family. And one of our sponsors is Q Global. Okay. And I'm that's the company that's actually put me down to work for them with the Hat Foundation. I'm trying to raise turkeys because I love that mindset. But Q Global is one of the big sponsors here at our Autumn Carnival. They took out one of the big booths. They're sponsoring the event of the turkey distribution on November 23rd from 9 to 1 at 808 Southwest Glenview Court. And they have the mindset, and Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you for just a minute. If you would let everybody know what can this sponsor Q Global do to help these people that are working their butts off?
Q Global is offering individuals, single moms, janitors that have made $14, $15 an hour, anyone and everyone an opportunity to learn how to trade currencies in the foreign exchange market.
Ooh.
People don't realize, but banks have been trading our money once the bank doors closed for the past 35 years, making 35 to 42% every night of the week, 5 days a week. So we created Q Global to, at a very fair price in learning, to give any and everyone the opportunity to go through our training classes. But we offer Forex training a little different than any other company out there doing it. If you complete our 4 phases of training, we promise you, you will be able to make a minimum of $300 or $500 per day.
Wow.
That's $70,000 to $135,000 a year. And in most cases and most days, you can make that 300 or 500 in 3 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
If the market's moving slow, it may take you a couple hours. But we teach everyone and we give them our 100% commitment that when you're through the training class, you will truly be able to make $300 or $500 daily. We do a lot of our training through the internet services so we can globalize it. One of the reasons we're called Q Global.
Mhm. Online.
Mhm.
Online.
Did that answer your question, Eric?
That was good. He did good. What do you think, Pat?
Not bad. He's been waiting for 20 minutes to say that.
I know. I
Eric,
don't know how to
'cause you've
shut
been
up.
dominating.
Pat knows me very well. When I start talking, and then
Same with me.
but you know, every time I've had the opportunity to be with you, we always start talking about God and giving, and I love it. I mean, we I think one of our radio shows that we did together, I think about 45 minutes, was all about how we could give back to the community and how amazing God is. And
They
it's a
must think
pleasure.
these guys are crazy. What are they talking about?
The holy roll is no, bro. Pat, it
No.
is always an honor and a privilege to be here. I love what you do. I love the opportunity to say that I'm a part of the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's Association of the Treasure
Thank
Coast. It's an honor.
And he's done some really good work for us.
And I'm not
Really
done.
good work.
I'm not done.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's so easy to come and have a conversation.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy this program. Next month will be 7 years that have
Okay.
been on this
If you
radio
didn't
program.
enjoy it, Pat, you still wouldn't be doing it.
Amen.
But it's my best venue for education.
I agree.
Best venue.
I agree.
If you look up the word, the forum, it means a gathering place for information. And that's exactly what this is. I've had such divergent guests all over the place. And it's so fulfilling for me because I learned so much.
Mhm.
They say, oh, well, this nursing home, they're all alike. No, they're not. They're like Guatemala and El Salvador across the street, completely different environments, but with the same license. There's a culture in every one of these communities.
Agreed.
And there's all these different cultures. We've been blessed to have the quality of delivery of those services in independent, assisted living, nursing home, group home, things in the Treasure Coast. We have some very fine programs.
You know, and there's offshoots is what I love. So when we were doing the facilitator group at the Allegro, I was chatting with a lady. Her name is Miss Francis. Miss Francis, I'm giving you a shout out. She's one of the residents at the Allegro, and we talked about the ability to talk about God and Bible study. And guess what? She said, "You better be here, and you better do it this way, and so forth." And it was amazing, amazing. And that came from you. That came from that opportunity to be there.
My MS or Parkinson Tai Chi master has been doing classes at Allegro. And first we tried to start off with people who had Parkinson's disease. A number of the elderly women go down there all the time and they're stretching and they sit in a chair and do it.
Yeah.
Love
it.
I just want to take a moment to thank Pat, thank the radio show for allowing us to come in and talk
Amen.
about what Eric and I do. And of course, that's the Hat Foundation, Q Global, and Pharmax. We are coming to Port St. Lucie to make a change in people's lives.
Amen.
And today is the first day to move forward with that opportunity.
And Mike, you are welcome anytime. Bring a program on the air.
Thank you.
Okay. I had Vitas and I say the same thing to them. I want to have a separate show on the 5 Wishes program about how you would fill out how you want to pass this world.
Yeah.
And, there's pages upon pages of all those things. You can choose everything in your environment. And most people don't know about that either.
Yeah.
So again, we're trying to
When
do
I
some
first
education.
became involved with Q Global, that was one of the first things I was asked to do. Take a piece of paper, write down 5 things that I want in life, put it on the wall, read it every day.
There you
Amen.
go. Amen. Right.
Pat, thank you. I want to say thank you as well.
How we
Appreciate it.
doing there, sir?
Just a little over a minute.
Okay.
So can I give the website one more time?
Yes,
for everybody?
please. Website,
All
phone
right.
number.
www.hat.today. Also qglobal.biz, B-I-Z, and Pharmex, PHARMX.today. Those are some of the sponsors. And you could jump in and start pledging your donations to hat.today, HATT.today. $20 feeds a family of 4.
Thank you. Goodbye. Next week. Bye. Actually, next week.